Hi, welcome back. Now let's have a look at high maturity improvement. And by the end of this little talk, you will know what I mean by high maturity. You'll know some of the different approaches to high maturity improvement, and you'll understand what is special cause variation and what's common cause variation, the difference between the two. So let's have a look. Let's start with what's high maturity. High maturity organization is one that's achieved CMMI level 3 or SPICE level 3 and wants further improvements. You could say that about pretty much all of them. To get to level 3, essentially you do reasonably well-controlled, well-defined work, and you can do that simply these days. You can do it pretty much by turning on project management and all the development tools, and you pretty much get to level 3. Then what? Well, up to level 3, an organization can improve by informal decision making and subjective decision making. That is, you can follow the latest fad or fashion, and it might work, and certainly it won't do any harm at level 3. After level 3, objective data are needed to identify problems and their solutions. Prior to level 3, you can work on, I think this is a problem, but after level 3, you need a certain amount of objectiveness in it, and this is where your data comes in. After level 3, objective measures of performance are needed to determine whether or not improvements have been effective, not only with the problems, but with the fixes effective. And we focus on two causes of variation: special cause variation and common cause variation. Now, special cause variation are things that are external to the process. They I guess happen from time to time. Things like slips, lapses, and mistakes. Slips, maybe the input to the process was not up to good quality. Well, you might have to fix that. Or somebody didn't quite know how to do something. These things can cause variation, and these are one-off things, but there's enough of them and they happen frequently enough, so you better get those under control. Now, they're identifiable as a spike in a control chart. Control chart, you plot the process performance on within some form of limits. Anything that goes outside those limits you treat as a special cause variation. You investigate it as if it is a special cause variation. You find out what was the cause and see what you can do to remove that cause. Common cause variation. These are variations that are a natural part of the process. I think I mentioned before that you could have something that is in the process itself, such as you are using a particular compiler, or you're using a particular framework in your work, and maybe the framework is got some problems with it. Well, the compiler has the language has some problems. I have heard people who are analysing different languages and have pointed out that languages that allow the programmer to do memory management are much more error-prone than languages that take care of error management for them. And it's not by a little bit, it's by quite a lot. Some languages are easy to understand and work much easier. I mean, I have programmed in assembler language, and I programmed in some of the higher level languages. I think C. I worked in C, but not any of the object-oriented languages. And I can tell you that assembler was really hard to get right. So languages or some method of doing something, but these are things that are a specified part of the process that have limits to their accuracy. So you try to fix those. Now, what comes after that? Well, what comes after that is a learning organization. The dimension that distinguishes learning from more traditional organizations is the mastery of certain basic disciplines or competent technologies. So we're talking about systems thinking, personal mastery, mental models, building a shared vision, and team learning. So those are the kind of things that once you've got your technical processes under control, you start looking at these things. So the summary for high maturity organizations is that they usually need to change the way they work from informal reasoning using subjective data to scientific reasoning using objective data. They look through special cause variation, then common cause variation, and then if they get that far, they start becoming a learning organization.